This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good evening. I wouldn't call it a conference, but welcome to the ANCAN Active Surveillance Group. First of all, this is for everyone that is actively on active surveillance. If you receive treatment or are in the process of receiving treatment for prostate cancer, we have other groups that are better suited, but you're more than welcome to stay, and we can guide you to those other groups. First, we'd like to thank our sponsors who make this possible, who help make this possible. Bayer, Novartis, Johnson & Johnson, their division Janssen, of course, Myriad, Telix, and Blue Earth Diagnostics. I would like to, what we'll do, there is one new person aboard tonight, Mike, so he will go speak first, as you well know. But I'll now just go down the list and see who needs some time later on in our meeting.
And Gary, Donald came back in. Donald, are you new to our group?
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
No, I've been in the session before, yes.
Okay, thanks so much, Donald. I appreciate that.
Okay, all right.
Well, let's change his name to what he's just said. I think that would be good.
No, Donald spoke for all of us. Donald was brave enough to speak for all of us.
Yeah, I'm not a computer whiz here.
I like
Okay.
it.
You're good.
All right. So, Mike, you will absolutely go first. Donald, do you need any time this evening?
No, I don't. Thank you.
All righty. Dan from Pensacola, anytime, sir?
Negative.
Allan in the Big Apple, you need any time?
I'm good, thanks.
All righty. Ed in Virginia, good evening. And you need any time? And you're on mute, Ed. Ed?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll get back to Ed. Frank, we'll welcome you back from last week. I understand you were new last week. Do you need any time or give us any kind of update?
Yeah, I would like a little bit of time. Just had a question for the group in general.
Okay, not a problem. And Michael in Alaska, do you need any time? You're muted too. We can't hear you. Can't hear you, Michael.
All right, there we go. I got it unmuted. Yeah, I had a doctor's appointment last week and a new biopsy and et cetera. So I've been talking a little bit or updating.
Robert, did he escape? Is he gone?
I don't see him.
Okay.
Have
Bob,
a Robert Allan.
Yeah, well, that's on the bottom.
Okay.
That's confusing me with Allan J. Everybody's getting these confusing names. Bob, do you need any time this evening? And you're on mute, sir.
No, thank you.
All righty. Derek, good to see you. You need any time?
I'll take a slice of Alexa's time. She's going to stick around. Thank you.
Okay, not a problem.
Well,
And Mr. Burns, do you need any time? He faded out of the. Oh, there he is.
He's on mute.
I'm mute.
You're muted, Greg. You good?
Let's
Greg?
give him some time. We'll come back to him.
Okay. Bill in Virginia. Did I add? In
No,
Virginia.
no time needed tonight.
Bill.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Greg's
Can
a
you hear
no.
me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead,
Yes.
Greg. Do you need
Yes.
any time?
Yes, please, if you have a few minutes.
No problem. Bill in Virginia, do you need any time?
Not tonight, thanks.
Okay. Donald, do you need any time?
No, I don't. Thanks.
All right. Robert Allan, do you need any time, sir?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All righty. Ed in Virginia, you back? Okay. All right. Did I miss anybody besides, do you need any time, by the way?
No.
Alexa, do you need any time to say anything?
Don't believe so. You got everybody.
Okay. Eric?
Unless Eric. Yes.
Eric, need any time?
No, thank you, I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Davis joined us, so I'm sure he'll need time, but he'll grab it. So we don't worry about that. Okay. All righty. Well, what we'll do is, I guess Ed in Virginia is still not responding, and Robert seemed to leave. So, Mike, we're going to give you the floor, and you can tell us where you are on this journey. So let me take some information, and then we'll get some input from the group, and see what we can do for you. I'm sure we can help you out. Where are you located, Mike?
In Colorado, in Boulder.
It's a pretty place. Okay. How did you hear about ANCAN?
I heard about it going back almost 2 years ago when I had a scare that I might have prostate cancer.
Okay, when you say scare you might have, that was precipitated by like a high PSA, talking with your friends,
A high
doctor?
PSA followed by a PSMA scan that lit up in several locations in my sacrum as well as my prostate.
Okay, all right, we'll get into that in a little bit further because I got some questions right there. How old are you, sir?
76.
All right.
And
Young.
hopefully counting.
Are you, I'll be 75 like in 3 weeks. Are you a veteran by any chance?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, we have some special groups that we always like to make people aware of. So, okay, you said 2 years ago, a high PSA and a PSMA, which, okay, I'll ask later. When were you officially like diagnosed with prostate cancer? When did somebody tell you that you have it?
I've never been officially diagnosed with prostate cancer.
You didn't have a
Okay.
biopsy?
Yes, I had a prostate biopsy about 1 year and 9 months ago, a 12 core that came back negative.
Okay.
And I also had a single biopsy of the sacrum that came back negative.
Where is the sacrum?
I'm sorry?
Where's the sacrum? I'm not familiar with this.
Bottom of the spine.
Your tailbone, kind of coccyx down that way?
Yes. Yes.
I pulled that one out of my biology class. Damn, I'm impressed. Okay.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
So let's go back.
Okay, so
Harry, let's go back. The PSA, he has a PSA, and then what? Your PSA jumped up to what?
Well, to give you background, starting in 2013, my PSA jumped up to about 5.5. First time above 3. And then I took a course of Cipro at that time.
Okay.
And it went down to 4.5.
Right.
Also, I had a biopsy of the prostate at that time, and that was negative.
Okay.
So let's fast forward from 2013. My PSA at times has jumped up, and well, it was generally in the neighborhood of say 5 to 6 from 2014 to 2022, those 8 years, 5 to 6.
Okay.
And another time I took Cipro and it went down considerably from about 6.2 to 3.8 during those 8 years.
Okay.
Now, in 2022, my PSA went up to 10.1, nearly doubling from the previous PSA of 5.8. Then I took Doxy for 2 weeks, and the PSA went down from 10.1 to 5.8. Then in October of 23, my PSA went up to 11.9, the highest it had ever been. And that's when the doctor ordered the PSMA scan, which lit up 3 places in the sacrum, as well as some moderate lighting.
Like when I'm like, what do I get for lunch?
BJ, we need you on mute. Thank you. Okay, so you
Go
have
ahead,
a,
Mike.
Then
but
after,
you didn't have an MRI, right?
yes, I've had MRIs, 3 in the last, 2 years.
On your prostate,
Yes.
okay? And what
And
did
then
those
after,
show?
let me just quickly finish the PSA story.
Okay, you betcha, go.
After 11.9 in October 23, it's bounced around between 7 and 8.
Okay,
Now, has your
the MRIs, 3 in the last 2 years, have shown that my prostate size has gone from 67 to 82 mils. Each of them showed a PIRAD of 3.
but no change? No change in that, so the first one was a PIRADS 3 and no change across the others.
The appearance of each MRI looks stable from previous MRI appearances.
Perfect, okay?
When was
What's that?
When was your last biopsy?
The last prostate biopsy was approximately a year and 7 months ago. 12 core, what's it called?
Transperineal?
Perineal, thank you.
No problem.
Is it targeted?
Okay, and that showed, did they even give you a Gleason score? Did they see anything?
Negative on the 12 cores.
12 cores and all negative.
Correct.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, real
Is it
quickly,
MRI guided?
does your, it sounds with your taking Cipro and other antibiotics, always lowered your PSA. Now, I'm no doctor, but we've been hanging around here for a little while. And it sounds like, as far as most of this is prostatitis. You're evidently, I would think, prone to prostatitis. You might have acute prostatitis. But if you have a negative biopsy, your MRIs have all been the same. They find no lesions. And right now, I think you said your PSMA is running between 7 and 8 for a 76-year-old male with an 82 cc prostate. I would imagine you're in the right place with us and that everything is going along well. Now, tell us what your doctors are talking about.
Well, my relatively new urologist, who I saw a couple months ago, he at first said, look, given the size of your prostate, like you said, given that my PSA has been kind of stable, although high, from 7 to 8, but he said, don't worry about it. But then he said, just in case, let's take this test. It's called ExoDx Prostate Urine Test. And I had never heard of it. So I said, sure, okay. So I pee into a container, I send it through the mail, and the doctor called me 2 days ago. The test has a range of from 0 to 100. The company that makes the test says if you're under 13, there's a very low chance that you have, quote, high-grade prostate cancer. If you're between 13 and 100, an increasing chance that you have high-grade prostate cancer. My result, 53.
Well, that's an awful big range to go from 13, from under 13, you're good. And then they give you from 13 to 100 to tell you you got a chance of having, I don't know anything about this ExoDx urine test. I'd have to look at something. But now, what did have you spoken to your urologist about this yet?
Yes, and he's strongly suggesting that I have a saturation 25 core biopsy of my prostate. And it's this damn test with a score of 53 out of 100 that has me concerned.
Well, there are other tests out there. We can give you, must I give you 4 or 5 different other tests that you can send your last biopsy results for, Decipher, Prolaris, if you want, if
He doesn't have a Gleason score, Gary.
No.
But you
No
do have a positive PSMA, right?
Correct. From a year and 7 months ago, that lit up 3 points in the sacrum, moderately so in the prostate.
Have they biopsied the points in the sacrum?
One spot in the sacrum, which admittedly the doctor said was really difficult to get to, but he thought he had nailed it. And that biopsy came back negative of the sacrum.
So the sacrum biopsy came back negative, but it's still lit up on the PSMA.
Correct.
Okay. And you got seen by a regular urologist?
At the time, I was under the care of a regular urologist. After that, I went to a what's called a GU oncologist.
G medical oncologist, yeah.
And Dr. Kiesler at the University of Colorado in Denver.
And what did he say?
She said, given the whole history and testing, she said she believes I do not have prostate cancer.
Yeah. So, one question that guys are asking was so you had a positive result from the PSMA. Did they use those results to target the biopsy?
For the sacrum biopsy, yes.
They can't do that. They can't do that, Hugh, because the PSMA scan is very difficult to locate. It's a problem. So what they do is they put you through a CT scan, which they use to kind of locate where the PSMA lesions are showing up, to give them an idea where they are. But they can't be precise like they can with an MRI. But my question to you, Mike, is how did Elizabeth Kessler explain the PSMA readings if she didn't think it was prostate cancer? What did she think was causing those PSMA light ups indications?
I don't remember what she said about that. I don't want to. I'll assume she thought it was maybe a false positive, but I don't remember exactly what she said.
Do you remember what test you used? Was it Pylarify?
Yes.
It was Pylarify. Well, yeah, I mean, back then, 2-3 years ago, Pylarify was a little dicey, and it was showing false positives. Now they're much better at reading the Pylarify than they were 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, I've never heard of a situation where this has happened before. It's incredibly unusual. What I would
we haven't had too many guys coming with this story. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
I'm sorry. What is unusual?
Well, it's very unusual to show up with PSMA showing PSMA activity and somebody not being diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Now, especially where you are. Now, you can see esophageal PSMA activity because PSMA exists in the esophagus. That we know that's a biological fact. And there's a couple of other places it may exist. It's occasionally seen, but that's not where it's showing up. At the time, I guess, had you come into us, I would have said, get a second opinion from another GUMO. We know Kessler, she's okay, she's average, but there's something doesn't sound right. And it could have been false. It could definitely have been false positives. The fact is that now here we are, sometime later, we're seeing similar activity. Your PSA isn't abnormal for the size of your prostate, just like Gary and you said. But you know, this is a real head scratcher, and unfortunately, in the Boulder area, you don't have too many choices as you know, to run it past other people in that area. I think you could go further afield, or you could consult even with some of the best urologists who are further afield. But it's just a weird situation. I just don't know. I don't know what to say. If it were me, I probably would want to take that PSMA scan and have it read again by somebody, really experienced. Maybe talk with another GU medical oncologist. Would I undergo a saturated 26 core when there's nothing showing up on the MRI? When was the last MRI?
The last MRI was in June of 24.
Okay, so on what basis is this guy saying we should do it? What's he seeing to make him think he should do a 26 core, 25 core saturated biopsy?
It's this new test result, ExoDx urine test result.
Right.
And my result is out of 0 to 100, it's 53, which the company says shows a relatively high chance of advanced prostate cancer.
Right, but relatively high doesn't warrant sticking the needle into your prostate 25 times, unless there's other evidence. So, you know, it's just like the guy said, do some other tests. And is this guy that you're seeing in a community practice, or is he a part of Anschutz?
He's part of Anschutz.
Okay. I guess I'd get before I underwent a saturation biopsy, I'd want to sit down with somebody and talk to them about my PSA, talk to them about this ExoDx test, and ask them whether they would proceed. If it were them, whether they proceed. If you went to somebody good and they said yes, you should, fine. If not, I'd think about another measure.
Rick, isn't there a chance?
Michael's got a question.
Okay.
Go ahead, Michael.
Well, not a question as much as
a hand up,
comment. But I guess I take a little bit different view from what Rick's saying, and it's actually in light of my biopsy I just had. But I just had you sound like you're very afraid of the saturation biopsy. I just had that 2 weeks ago. It's not great. You don't want to have it if you don't need it. But amazingly, they did have some findings, which thank goodness were all Gleason 6 in areas of my prostate that's never been found before. You know, so I think a saturation biopsy is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I'm quite concerned with hearing the positive PSMA and the ExoDx and the elevation of the PSA on and off. But that's just my opinion. You know, that's where I am.
Well, I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. I'm saying there's not enough evidence to warrant it. That's a whole different story, Michael. I don't think there's enough evidence. If it were me, I wouldn't think that was enough evidence. He hasn't had an MRI in a year, 15, 16 months.
Speaking of MRIs, Mike, I'm just curious, did they find any lesions?
No, not in the MRI.
You had a PIRAD score of something?
Yeah, I wonder why you got a PIRADS 3 and didn't get a 1 or a 2, because basically speaking, a 1 and a 2 is when they don't, Am I correct? When, you know, you get a PIRADS 1 or 2, it's like they really don't see anything. I mean, they don't have a lesion to target.
They saw
The PIRADS
areas
3,
they saw areas of concern, but nothing so focused that they called it a lesion.
Did they at least target those focus areas in the biopsy?
The prostate biopsy from about 1 year and 7 months ago, he said he was going to use the MRI as well as ultrasound during that biopsy.
Right.
But then when it came time to do the prostate biopsy, he did not use the MRI and only used the ultrasound.
was there an explanation why?
I forget the explanation.
Well, it wasn't good enough, that's for sure. It should have been done. I would have taken the MRI over the ultrasound to get, I mean, they all work in conjunction, and that you want, you know, you want all of it, but why he left the MRI out?
I vaguely recall he said that at the last minute he had to switch procedure rooms, and the procedure room that he did the biopsy in didn't have the equipment he needed.
Well, at your cost. So, you know, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that some of these guys pull that just is wrong. We've had people that have biopsies before an MRI, have things done ass backwards. It's amazing how this still happens. Derek had his hand up. What do you want to say, Derek?
The question I have for you, Mike, is are you well versed or educated in how to prepare for PSA tests?
Well, I don't ride a bike. I avoid sex for 2-3 days before. I think that's essentially it.
Are you on any other medications?
I take occasionally a sumatriptan for headaches. I take multivitamin. I take atorvastatin, 20 milligrams once a day.
Oh, okay. I'm not certain how statins played into it. I know NSAIDs play into it as well.
I generally don't. No, I generally don't take those.
Okay, yeah. We might want to look into how statins play into it as well. But it sounds like you are pretty versed or well educated. Thank you.
So, Mike, have you had a second opinion on your biopsy?
On the biopsy in terms of the prostate from 1 year and 7 months ago, or the
Yes.
or the sacrum biopsy?
No, the prostate biopsy, the one that showed all negative. I mean, we normally, you know, get guys that have positive results and we send off for a second opinion. When the results are good, we don't always go with the second opinion.
I think when
But maybe it's warranted in this case.
I think when I went to see Kessler at CU Anschutz, I believe that Kessler pulled tissue samples and looked at them. I just don't recall if she pulled the prostate tissue samples or the sacrum tissue sample or both. I don't recall which tissue she looked at.
So we recommend that you get a second opinion, and we'll put in the chat. You familiar with the chat?
I generally am. I haven't looked at this chat.
Yeah, if you click on the chat, one of the guys will probably we'll put a list of guys who we recommend for second opinions, and you can send off, talk to your doc and have them send off your results for a second opinion. Like I said, you know, most of the time when you have really bad results, everybody wants to get a second opinion right away. When you have good results, I'm in there. You know, I don't always send off for a second opinion. But
you know. Hugh, if it was wrong 2 years ago,
Yeah.
And it would have grown by now. I mean, I think we can safely say it was probably correct, because if it was there 2 years ago, then it should show up more. It should have shown up a year later, and it ought to show up on an MRI right now. So rather than sending that off or sending a 2-year sample away, I think there are better tests that can be done right now to establish whether there's any prostate cancer in the prostate.
So are you
Okay.
suggesting I get an MRI right away?
Well, I think if it were me, I'd be getting a second opinion from another doc, is what I'd be doing. And the problem is there's nobody, we can't recommend anybody in your immediate area. Are you willing to travel?
Possibly. It depends on how long I'd have to wait to see this remote doc.
Well, I would suggest from where you are, I'd probably send you, if it were me, I'd go to Scott Egner at the University of Chicago, because he's very well versed. He thinks outside the box. He's the right guy. We can probably help you get to Dr. Egner. But we don't want to reach out to Egner if you're not willing, if you wouldn't be willing to travel, because
I'm willing to travel to Chicago.
Okay. Well, that's, I think, what we would do. And I would probably do that ahead of doing anything else right now. Although an MRI cannot hurt. An MRI can only add, so I would probably ask your who's the doc you're seeing now at Anschutz?
His name is Mark Fisher.
Yeah, what's his last name?
Fisher. Fischer.
Yeah. I would ask Dr. Fisher, say, before we do a saturated biopsy, can we at least do an MRI as soon as we can? And not say anything else. Work on getting that MRI into play, and then try to make an appointment with Egner. Tell him, be sure to tell the input person that you've had a positive PSMA scan showing in the prostate 18 months ago, but we still can't find anything there. And you'd like to see Dr. Egner as soon as you can and see when they give you an appointment. Then if it's too far out, we can step in and tell Dr. and tell him and tell the input person that you've been sent to him by ANCAN.
Can you give me Egner's spelling for his last name?
It's right in the chat window for you. Alexa's put it in. The link is there. If you just click on that right now, you don't even have to copy it. Click on it. It'll open in your browser.
Great, got it. Thank you.
I know Alexa had her hand up. Alexa, something for Mike?
Yeah, Mike, I wanted to ask you, do you have any masses, neck, behind your ears, anything uncomfortable?
No.
Not at all. Have you had any symptoms of heartburn? You're feeling full? You've noticed some eating changes? Any coughing?
About 2 months ago, I started to experience for the first time some heartburn.
Okay.
And had a stomach scope.
Okay, so you had an endoscopy.
As well as my colonoscopy. And the stomach scope showed severe irritation in my esophagus and stomach, as well as 3 small ulcers. So for the last 2 months, I've been on a PPI for the ulcers.
They take a biopsy of the esophagus whenever they did the endoscopy?
I don't believe they did a biopsy of the esophagus. They did a biopsy of the stomach looking for H. pylori.
Correct.
They
Yeah.
also look for cancer. Yes, they look for cancer also. And both the H. pylori and the cancer biopsy came back negative.
So that's interesting to me because part of the reason I was asking, esophageal and salivary gland cancers can produce PSA. And that's very unusual to me that your esophagus showed irritation, but they did not biopsy it. That is very unusual because with esophageal, the sooner we can catch it, the better. And anytime there's an irritation or anything like that, we just don't like that. So I would be very curious if they did either because normally those types of scans need radiation, some form of radiation. I know that usually with endocrine. I would be real curious why they didn't biopsy that esophagus, and I think you need to get that esophagus checked.
Well, I'm going in for a repeat of that scope.
Good.
In just 2 weeks. So I'll ask him to biopsy the esophagus.
Yes, absolutely. Ask them to biopsy the esophagus. Ask them to give you pictures to take with you. And I would also get a second opinion on the esophageal biopsy. That is sometimes a complicated cancer to diagnose, and it's really important to get that pathology correct. So I would just be curious. It sounds like you're having a little bit more of like GI issues, and esophageal like cancer even early on can cause stomach issues and that heartburn and that. So I would really be prioritizing that.
Yeah, and I want to add to that because it's a really good catch on Alexa's part. The tip-off is that we know that esophagus produces PSMA. And the fact that you have PSMA elsewhere in your body, but it doesn't seem to be coming from prostate cancer, might suggest, and this is the discussion, by the way, that you want to have with your doc in 2 weeks' time. Could that suggest that it's coming from your esophagus? And they might want to look at that pelvic biopsy from 2 years ago and look and see if there's anything that looks like esophageal cells in there, because they weren't looking for that when they were doing when they were reading that, they were looking for prostate cancer cells. Who knows who looked at it? And maybe you want to have somebody looking at that. I don't know if Zhu is the right person or Epstein, but you want to have somebody looking for that with a wider field of vision. That could this be esophagus? Now, what shows up in your prostate? Yeah, it could, because we know that in the prostate there's PSMA. You could be making PSMA. It's not usual because it's normally more advanced prostate cancer cells that make it, but the prostate's confusing. But what shows up in the spine, to me, is separate. So I think it's worth a discussion with your doctor in 2 weeks. Maybe even send him your PSMA scan and say, do you think that this be related? Could this possibly be related to something that's going on in my esophagus? Are you on the same page as us, Mike?
I understand fully.
Sounds like a plan. I know Derek had his hand up. Did you want to add something, Derek?
Well, yeah, I just want to say my father-in-law is going through the same thing. He does have esophageal cancer that tested positive. His PSA is 80.4, 80.4. So yeah, there's a definite tie factor there with the PSA scores and potential esophageal cancer.
Okay. Well, this has been a little bit of a different course from our normal first-time people, for sure. Quite educational, actually. Mike, I think Rick kind of put out a really good plan, and especially Alexa, that was an excellent catch. I mean, excellent. I wouldn't have had a clue. That's terrific.
One final question, if I may.
Sure.
It sounds like maybe I should hold off on contacting Dr. Scott in Chicago until after I get the results of the stomach scope in 2 weeks or so.
I
Well,
would cover your bases. Honestly, I would put feelers out to everybody. Dr. Egner's fantastic. I would just go ahead and put all your eggs in all the baskets and let's get you fixed up.
So just do it all concurrently.
I would.
Yeah, because you're not going to get an appointment with that guy overnight. That's not, that's not going to happen. You need to line up an MRI, see if you get the MRI lined up. You got this other thing going on in 2 weeks. You're going to ask him to biopsy the esophagus. In the meantime, make contact with Egner's office and see what's going on. And of course, come back with us and let us know what's going on. And if you need help to make the connection with Dr. Egner, I think between Rick and Howard, they can most likely hook you up.
Fantastic.
So,
thank you all.
Sounds like a plan, but definitely come back and let us know what's going on. And again, Alexa, that was really excellent.
Make sure you share those results to Egner about the biomarker that you took, the ExoDx or whatever it is.
ExoDx.
Because we haven't heard too much about that, from, and
we've
so
heard
I
about
don't know if you're going to run across a lot of people that know it.
We've heard about liquid biomarkers. Of course, I don't know. That's one of them. And of course, their scale. I mean, 1 to 13 is good, and 13 to 100 is sketchy. That's scary results. I mean, hopefully there's more definition somewhere between that 13 and 100, because that's just a big space. But anyway, yeah, see what he thinks about that. Would be certainly curious to know if that's something that we should put into the toolbox. Okay, anybody have anything else for Mike? Mike, you good as far as questions?
Thank you all.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing, and certainly come back and share. You've got some homework, I guess you might call it. You can fill us in on how your homework is going. All right.
Mike, do we have your email address?
Yes, you do.
You do? Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. All right. Frank was new last week, and I think he's got a little bit more information. Welcome again, Frank, and tell us what's going on.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been doing some additional follow-ups with doctors. Since our last meeting, I met with the second radiation doctor, and he recommended I go under the active surveillance process. And he said, especially once I get back my Polaris results, if that came in with a low score, that I should stay with active surveillance. He mentioned I had a less aggressive cancer. I'm not really sure exactly how he derived that, but nonetheless, I mean, when you go visit with the doctors, you only have so much time. He spent ample time, I guess, but you come out with afterwards with 10 more questions you should have asked. But he has recommended I go under active surveillance. I am going to see a second urologist tomorrow and discuss with him what's going on and see what he would recommend if he concurs with the active surveillance. And then I would like to understand what that protocol or process for active surveillance is about, and how's that work, and how the monitoring goes, etc. I'm still waiting for the Polaris score. It'll be a week tomorrow since I think it was sent out, so probably another week before I get the results. I'm also working with my insurance group because I'm my insurance broker because I'm going to look to change over to Medicare. But that won't happen until the end of the year when the sign-up stuff goes on. But in the meantime, I guess I'll kind of limp along with one of these community doctors and especially if it's low risk cancer, it's not aggressive, and hopefully I'll be okay and I can limp along till the first of the year. But one of the questions I had for the the group was I'd like to get some input on what is active surveillance, what is that process, and what are some good practices or best practices that should be done so that I can kind of vet that out with the or vet it with the urologist that I'm talking to.
Frank, I wasn't here last week, so let me just ask you real quick. Did you have a biopsy and did you have a Gleason score?
I had a biopsy, I had a Gleason score. There was no MRI done, which I've since learned that was a blind biopsy. You should have had one done prior to the biopsy.
Correct.
So, and out of the biopsy report, 6 came back with Gleason scores of, or 5 of them came back with scores of 6, and one of them was a 3 + 4 for a 7. I didn't realize in the in the biopsy report, the 12 sectors, it shows the acronym PIN. I don't know what that, or the word PIN. I don't know what that means. I asked the where I mentioned to the radiation doctor yesterday that I didn't think he had tested all the sectors, and he said no, he did, because it shows it was pinned. And if that's true, then all the others came back negative. So
on the 3 + 4, is there a volume of the 4, like 5%, 10%, something like that?
Yes, it is. Let me find it in all this.
11 last week.
Pardon me?
I think you may have said 11 last week.
It could be. I've got so much paperwork for all this research that I've been doing. I'm also working on the intent to file. I've done an intent to file with the veterans, and now I'm working on the paperwork. After talking to Jim, you need to submit some narratives on the impacts of the cancer on your life and all that stuff. So it's, even though it's presumed that you were exposed
Frank,
to.
you're in Yorba Linda, are you not?
Yes, I am. It's 11% on the 3 + 4. I'm
My
sorry.
notes
Yes,
were
I am.
pretty good.
Okay.
So you're in Yorba Linda, which is that Orange County? I can't remember.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So one way around this in a hurry is, and we can help you do this, is to get yourself registered at the VA as quickly as you can and go up to West LA VA, because they've got some really good they've got some really good urological oncologists there. They use the guys from UCLA. So what I'd like to see, and we have to make sure you get to the right person, and we can help you do that. But what we'd like to see is you moving your care in the short term to West LA VA. So from what I think you're telling us, you're not registered at the VA right now. Is that correct?
I actually registered online with the VA today.
Okay, so you just started the VA process.
Yes.
What I would suggest you do is come to our next VA benefits meeting, which I think is the 5th of August, correct, Alexa? And we'll also make sure that you get notification of that.
Frank's on our veterans list.
Frank's on our veterans list. Okay, so you'll get notification, and Jim Marshall and Gary and the guys in that group will help you get registered and tell you how to expedite that. And then they can reach out to me or to Howard Walensky and find out, or we can reach out to Mike Crosby and we can find out who to ask for. I know who to ask for advanced prostate cancer there, but I do know that there's some really good urologists, UCLA urologists there. I may be able to even look online, because as soon as I see the name, I'll remember. There's a lady there who's very good, an African American lady who I'm pretty certain is a urologist, and I'll look for her name in a second. Like I can almost see her face, and that's who we want you to go to, and start working with them, and then you don't have to even worry about waiting until next year. Who's your insurance with right now?
Well, I've got an HMO at Scan.
You've got an HMO, and does that HMO not include any centers of excellence? It doesn't include UC Irvine or City of Hope or any of those?
It doesn't include City of Hope, UC Irvine, correct? It does not. It includes Hoag, and I've not had a chance to look at Hoag.
No, we don't see any. We've had people come to us from there, and then we've had to send them to other places, but they're not a center of excellence.
Okay.
But there's no UC center in there, and no City of Hope, is what you're saying, correct?
Correct.
How about USC? Is USC in there?
No, that's not.
Okay. Well, then your best bet to get expert treatment right now is to use the VA route, and I can put some name. I'll find some names quickly for you, but there are some very good people there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What is your name?
My name's Rick.
Rick. Okay, sorry.
Frank, where did you? How old are you, and where did you serve? How long were you in the military?
I'm 76, 77 in November, and I served in Vietnam. I was in Vietnam for 7 years, and apparently I might have been. I was exposed to the Agent Orange because in doing some research, a lot of this Agent Orange was stored at the Da Nang airport, and I arrived there and I was housed in the airport for
oh my God, really? Yeah,
a week.
well, you're basically presumptive for 100% disability. So when you get together with Jim Marshall, he'll hook you up to the tune of he'll tell you every dollar that you can get. That's one of his favorite things to do.
We'll be putting a lot of money in your pocket, Frank.
Yeah, and Frank was at the last veterans meeting, so they already started him on that journey.
Oh yeah, seriously, they'll go and there will be a lot of money, because as long as you had feet on the ground, just like Gary says, you're presumptive. But that we shouldn't be going there right now in this meeting, but we can help you. But the most important thing about all of this is I think we can get you much better medical care than community care for the rest of this year.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been talking to Jim Marshall offline, and he gave me all the forms and all that to look at, and I've done that, and I've actually started working on the full case and the narrative that they require. So.
Okay, Frank, just real quickly, I know you asked a question about what in active surveillance, how does it work, the protocol.
Right.
Basically speaking, just an overview. If in fact you were suggested to go on active surveillance, which it looks you have a good shot of going, it would be mostly an MRI every year as a guideline. It would be a PSA test every either 4 months or 6 months. Each center of excellence, each doctor has a certain protocol. Each different hospital. I get treated at the Mayo Clinic. Basically, every 3 to 5 years, they want you to get a biopsy. After an initial biopsy, they would want, which you've had, they would want you to get a confirmatory biopsy. So they've got something to go by. But I know you asked about active surveillance, and it means being active. It means being on top of it. It means hanging out with us every Wednesday. listening, learning, asking questions, feeling better about helping people along. So I just wanted to throw that in there because you did ask about what is active surveillance. It's self-explanatory, but it's involved in the sense that you have to do things that not everybody else does. I don't like MRIs. I get nervous and jerky. I got to take goofy pills. It's part of what I have to do. There's an anxiety level that's associated with the disease or any disease that when you get ready for your PSA test, there's things you can't do or you shouldn't do. The MRI could, increase your blood pressure a little bit, especially if you're a little claustrophobic. But these are things that are associated with, but not, that's not everything that is active surveillance. And hanging out with us, one of the best peer support groups you're going to find in the country, is the place to be. All
I
righty.
appreciate. Yeah, thank you. I've never been told the do's and don'ts for a PSA test, so that's new to me. Which I normally ask, do I have to fast and all, but not about activity related stuff that I should not do.
Yeah, it's extremely important. No sexual activity of any type. No strenuous activity. Certainly no bicycling. There are some drugs, like Derek concluded to, that have an effect. Rick was nice enough to post that statins do not affect PSA. There's, I guess, 40% of Americans are taking some kind of cholesterol medicine, like me. So it's good to know it doesn't affect it. But yeah, that's something that we can look into too. I think we have a list of things that might affect your PSA. I see a hand up, so I'm going to hand it over to Derek. There you go, bud.
Yeah, Mike, Jim Marshall, hook up with him. He's got an excellent document that he can provide to you about preparation for PSA tests, the do's and don'ts. It's about a 10-page document, and it's very detailed. So ask Jim for that. It's how not to fail a PSA test is what it's titled, something to that effect.
Okay.
So is there anything else that we can do for you right now, Frank? You got homework too. So far, we get 2 for 2 for homework. We got some homework we're going to giving out tonight.
There's plenty of homework to be done here. This is all new. Just one last question. If the active surveillance doesn't work out, are you a candidate then to have surgery, or do you go to radiation, or it just depends where the cancer is?
It would depend upon your particular situation. And of course, we have a different group, a low and intermediate group, and then we have a high risk group. Those will be people, if you had to go that route, we don't talk about treatment here, but very quickly, if it were to go to that, we have people, excellent moderators, and we have men that are going through it, that are living through the treatments, that have done them or are doing them, finished them. So you've got help all along the journey, but we hope you hang out with us for years. So let's just take one step at a time. All right.
Okay.
But we can help you along the journey, no matter where it takes you. Hopefully you stay right here. But if not, some people, there's a percentage of us that are going to have to seek treatment statistically. Hopefully nobody I'm looking at. And we help those people out also. So I've got some more hands up. Rick.
Go ahead, Rick.
The doctor that I would see at West LA VA is Dr. Isla or Isla Garraway. I'm not sure how does she pronounce that, Alexa? How do you pronounce ISLA?
It's Isla.
Isla. Thank you. So it's Dr. Isla Garraway. I've put her link in the chat window for you. So click on that link and you'll find her, and she's a really top doc. She works at UCLA and she works at the VA, and that's who you'd want to be with. Okay, Frank?
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Hi, Cole.
I would just also add, when Frank was saying, what is active surveillance or what do you do on active surveillance? I mean, a lot of that's going to be determined between you and your doctor that you do it with. I mean, there's some general things we can say, like probably an MRI every year, but when you sit down with your individual doctor, you're going to work out that plan. And, it might be flexible depending upon what they see each year on that MRI.
Okay.
And also, Frank, I think you mentioned PIN. Did you mention PIN? The doctor mentioned PIN when he did your biopsy. Is that correct?
Well, the report shows PIN in each of those, in some of those sectors. And I
Okay,
didn't
well, look,
realize.
if you would, when you get a chance, click on the chat. And Eric put in a real nice explanation about PIN. It would be something you definitely want to talk to your new doc about. In I think, what Rick say, West LA, wherever you're headed, to Dr. Isla. I would have said Isla too. Isla Garraway. Be sure to bring as much documentation you can to her so she can access, not access, your situation. In other words, looking for a word, can't find it. Just bring her as much data as you can so she can,
Okay.
so she gets the story.
Yeah, and what I'm hearing is the August 5th meeting is where I might meet Jim and some of these folks that helped me get going with the VA. Am I correct?
Frank, you came to that meeting. You came to our last Veterans Healthcare Navigation meeting. So the meeting on August 5th will be that same meeting. You'll meet Jim again and Boykin and
Yeah, Jim will walk you through the whole process and help you put in the claim. There's a number of men that he's really helped out, and some had to go through an appeal process. And Jim is very thorough and very knowledgeable, incredibly so.
Yeah, I talked to him about the intent to file and how to fill out the claim, all that good stuff. We didn't talk about getting care from the VA. I guess I'll need to go back with him.
Yeah, he can hook you up with that, no problem. Anybody else got anything for Frank?
Frank, thank you for your service.
Oh,
thank you very much.
Welcome.
Frank, were you in the Air Force?
No, it was the Army.
Army? Okay. I was there myself. Okay. Michael in Alaska, you been helping us out this evening. So what can we do for you?
Well, I don't know if I've been any help, but first thing I'll say, I don't know if everybody's seen it, and I might have been late. I found a new video, I believe it's by Dr. Mark Cooperberg, about active surveillance. I think it was only 2 weeks old last week, and it's really good, and it's really promising to listen to him for those of us who are on active surveillance and even have some Gleason 4 in our biopsies. I mean, he's really taken an aggressive approach to being on active surveillance, I think. But it was really good. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that, for guys might look him up and listen to that. I had another, I had an MRI and a biopsy done week before last. Nobody used the term, but I would use it, that it was a saturation biopsy. They took 28 cores.
Holy smoke.
It wasn't pleasant, but I'm surviving. I'm still seeing some blood, but it's definitely old blood, so I'm not worried about it.
Transperineal, I hope.
Yes, and in the OR, so I was asleep, which is the first time I've ever had that. Before, I've just had local for the previous 2 transperineal, and it was not a pleasant experience. And
28,
I can't.
28 ZAMs would have thrown you.
Well, if you've ever been, and I guess everybody here has just about been awake when they're firing that little spring-loaded gun, that's enough to make you jump into tomorrow every time. It's a pretty wicked sound. But anyway, first off, I can't sing enough praises about Mayo Clinic and the way they handle things. And when you go in, it's a little scary because it's such a big place and there's so many people coming and going. But I had, they even though it's 28, they do 12 different regions and all. So I wound up, which was kind of scary, with 9 positive cores in 9 different regions, but 8 of them are 6. and one of them had the Gleason 3+4 again from the same region as before, but only 5%. And on MRI, they still don't see any lesion in that
Nice.
region.
Nice.
So it's a completely, well, not completely blind pickup, but because he poked 3 spots there in that region. My 2 lesions, he of course did 3 efforts at them each and found 6, a good bit of it in both of my two lesions. But I range, and Eric, you might give a comment on this. My percentages on those 6s range from, I think, like 8% 6 all the way up to, I think, 54% 6 in one of them. I was kind of taken aback when I saw that I had 9 positives, but then I figured the percentage, and the percentage to compare to the overall cores is really no more than it has been in the past. It's just found in more regions.
Yeah, it's just based on the needle track and where it hits and doesn't hit, and it's only taking a small portion of your prostate.
When I look at this and I just think of trying to do that, I mean, yes, you've got the MRI and you've got the ultrasound imposed in over that, and you're looking at something, but then again, you're still almost doing this with 1.5 eyes closed, and these guys are really talented to be able to put that needle where they want it.
And
like
it's
that.
quick, like you said. So
Yeah.
Once you pull the trigger, it's done. It's like you can't change it as you're pushing it in or anything.
Absolutely. But I don't know if I ever want to have another one done that I'm not under anesthesia. And nobody likes to do anesthesia if you don't need to, but I don't know if y'all are familiar, coming from the ER world. I am, with airways and putting down tubes and where anesthesia, how deep it is sometimes. And they only did what we call a laryngeal mask airway on me. So it wasn't really deep anesthesia. So they don't put down an ET tube. It's like a mask that goes down in your throat, but covers up your esophagus and your trachea. And then they oxygenate you through that. And that can be used for 30 minutes or an hour if necessary, maybe. Instead of putting down an ET tube, which is a much more complicated procedure and much more apt to possibly make an error or cause a problem. So, if anybody's thinking about doing it, I don't know that your anesthesiologist would do it that way, but it was pretty easy.
I thought it was mostly like a colonoscopy kind of.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
So Michael, you're becoming part of the club. You and myself, that it's into the ER. Let me go to sleep and I'll talk to you later. There you go, buddy. Join the club. There you go. Go ahead, what do you want to tell Michael?
So a couple of things. Number one, on the anesthesia question, especially Michael, if you reported a lot of discomfort the last time. My line on taking anesthesia is also that, I want this guy to come in. I want him to do his job, and I don't want him to have to worry about my comfort while he's doing his job or rushing things because I show signs of discomfort. So the anesthesia, allows him let him take his time and do his job, and that's what you want. So that's always been one of my viewpoints on that. Then the other one that I just wanted to mention, I know that you sat there and you said, you've got this 9 cores positive. I don't know how many you had the last time that were positive. Was this an increase?
Yeah, I didn't. I had 3 positive out of 14 before, because you only count one. You only count 1 positive, even if they're getting 2 positives from a lesion. Did I make sense with that?
That's the other point that I wanted to make is we often make the mistake that on a second biopsy we have more cores positive and think, oh, it's spreading all over. No, you know, normally on a second biopsy, they're going to be targeting the same spots, and you get more results because it's the same spot. So we don't always have to worry about that. Actually, you're finding more cores. It's not, it's going into the same spot. So I just wanted to, I did the same thing. I got the second time and went, oh, I got more cores. And the doc says, we expect that.
They say how many penetrate the lesion? Like these three cores are on lesion number 2.
And in my case, they only got 1 positive core out of 3 for each of the lesions, and then the 9 total was from 9 different sections of the prostate out of 12. I guess from what I've read with each prostate biopsy, if they're doing saturation or randoms, they divide the prostate up into 12 different places or sections. Starting, for simplicity, starting with the top right and left, the top or the middle right and left, and then the, coming down.
Yeah, the prostate grid. Yeah.
Michael, the other question,
the grid.
The other question I've have is how many biopsies have you had, and then why do you think they wanted to do such a high number?
So this is my 4th biopsy.
Okay.
And I consider this a confirmatory biopsy after a grade increase and with changing doctors and institutions.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Did that answer all your question? I'm trying to remember what you asked for sure. I got
how many biopsies, and then why so many cores? Why?
Yeah, well, I think maybe why so many cores is I have such a large prostate.
Okay.
It was 111 cc's on last year's MRI, and amazingly this year they put it at 98 cc's, which I have to go back and question, is that a change of institution and a change of radiologist and how they read things?
Yes.
Also, 1 lesion out of my 2 this year had grown just a little bit, but again, I'm hoping that was something to do with institution and radiologist and just a change of how they read things. Also, I want to mention, somebody said something about this a while ago about looking at these pathology reports. The pathology report from Mayo is so much better to read and so much easier to read and understand. And I haven't had my meeting yet with Dr. Frindle. I'll have that Monday virtually. I mean, I do plan to ask for a second opinion on my slides.
Good.
I want to see what they think.
Michael, my final comment, I don't know if this is related, but the last time I had a biopsy, it was a transperineal. It was the first time, and my scrotum got black and blue. That was the first time, and it kind of freaked me out. And the doc said, "Oh no, that's possible, and maybe it'll turn green too."
Well, I was physically sore afterwards, and I made an astounding 600-mile drive the next day in my camper. Not the same day. I obeyed what they said and stayed in the hotel room, till the next morning. But I not horribly tender, but I was definitely uncomfortable. I mean, in that area, you could tell you'd had a needle stuck in there a bunch of times. There was no question about that. And in my previous 3 biopsies, I have never noticed much passing much blood. Like I say, I'm still seeing it, small amount, but I'm still seeing it almost every time. And of course, you know, being the medical person that I am, I worry. So last Thursday, I felt like I was having some burning with urination, and I contacted my personal medical doctor in Bozeman via the my chart, which again, Alexa was somewhere I was talking the other day about getting in your my chart to somebody that said they were having problems with it. And it's so important to get into your electronic medical record now and communicate with your doctor, because you can't get anybody on the phone, but darned if they won't almost always answer with your electronic medical record. And I really pushed on my hydration anyway because of passing the blood, and I communicated with my doctor, and he said, yeah, let's do a urinalysis. Well, darned, I did one Friday morning, and it was clear as it could be. It didn't have any blood in it. And I said, that's impossible. And I'm up here in Alaska, and I got my own lab, and I've tested it twice since I've been here, and I've had blood in it both times. So, it's there, but it was good to have a microscopic analysis and make sure there was no bacteria there or any signs of infection, which always remains a possibility, although remote.
They
Having
do,
a biopsy.
they do tell you up front, though, that you most probably will see blood for a period of time, dependent upon, I guess, how many times you get poked, who's doing the job, and any particulars about the particular gland that they're biopsying. It's to be expected, but I guess it varies for everybody.
Yeah.
Michael, did your doctor put you on antibiotics before the biopsy?
I was on antibiotics, and oddly, I was on. I wound up being on 2 weeks of antibiotics because I had to do a urinalysis and prep, and I showed up with an unusual asymptomatic bacteria that, and I can't remember the name of it even myself. I'd have to go back and look it up. And I was put on an antibiotic by my personal medical doctor. He said, you need to go ahead and take this. And I thought at the time, that's not the right antibiotic for that. And when I got to Mayo and I saw anesthesiology, they said, well, that's not the right antibiotic for that. We're going to talk to Dr. Frendel and Dr. Frendel's team, rather. And Dr. Frendel's team later that day me on a second antibiotic. I had just finished the first one. So I took a course of Keflex, and then I took a course of Bactrim. And also, since I repeated the UA with my PMD last Friday, this bacteria only showed up with a culture and sensitivity. It didn't show up in the microscopic UA. And for those of you that are not familiar with it, when you do the CNS, they basically grow that on a material for a few days and then look at it. So it takes about 3 days. But anyway, the bacteria was gone. It wasn't there. When I read up on it, it usually only caused problems in a person who was immunocompromised, like an actual cancer patient being treated or something. And it was a caution in there that if healthcare providers had that, they could possibly transfer it to immunocompromised patients. So it's good I got treated for it. And then maybe, I don't know, I don't know where I picked it up from. I have no idea. I do know when I had my cancer surgery in 2019, I had a couple of very bad urinary tract infections, and that cancer surgery was for bone cancer, something totally different. I had a couple of very bad urinary tract infections I thought was related to the catheter that was put in. So maybe I've been carrying that asymptomatic bacteria around for years. I don't know.
Could be. Definitely could be. All right. Does anybody have anything else for Michael? Okay, Derek, you're up.
I can wait till I'll put you at the bottom of the list, Gary. Thank you.
Gary, it's because he wants to talk to me.
Right.
So.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Very special. I'm very honored.
Oh, okay. Well, we had some late people that jumped on board late. VJ, I'd like to say hello, and also to our great pal, Dr. Wayne. Do you guys need any time if we end up with some? We've still got a couple of people to go.
I'm fine, thank you.
Hi, guys. No, I'm okay. I'm listening. Thank you so much.
Okay, and Dr. Wayne?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. All right.
Okay, good to hear you. All right, Greg, you're up. We can't see if you have a shirt or your shirt up. He has a shirt. Okay.
I'm in
All right.
California. It's never
All right,
rains in
there we go.
California.
All
So,
right.
so I think Rick's tired of hearing me because I double dipped last week and I went to the intermediate because I had some results that were concerning, and then I'm just trying to get ahead of the curve. So I haven't left active surveillance yet. So I think I'm still here, but kind of just thinking of next steps. But having said all that, I think I don't want to bore you again unless you want me to with what the symptoms, not symptoms, but the results were from my.
You got some PNI, right? You got paraneural invasion. Is that correct?
Yes, but that's I think that's correct. You remember that. But the MRI also said suspicion of possible extra prostatic, I guess, outside. So that was the MRI, which has got me quite concerned. I'm trying to get a second opinion, but for some reason, my doctor at Stanford's team says we don't know how to do that. So I spent a couple of days trying to get, thanks to Dr. Mark Perlow, he suggested I contact Dr. Rahman at UCLA, so to get a second opinion. But that was around the world in 80 days, and nothing came of that. So I have to be a patient there to get anything done. So anyway, long story short is the MRI was such that got me concerned, and then I had the biopsy, which last time a year and a half ago I had one core of 3+4. And 5 cores of 3+3. Now I have 3 cores of 3+4, 2 of which are less than 5%, and one of them is 5% of Gleason 4, and the other 4. Then I have 4 of 3+3. So that I was concerned that there was 17 cores, so of 17, 7 of them had some cancer. And then I asked for a second opinion on my biopsy results, which hopefully I'll get before I speak to my urologist on this Friday, the day after tomorrow. But I did get over my health app the Decipher score that we asked for. And I don't know if I should be cautiously optimistic or not, but the Decipher score said I'm 0.21, which is in the low area, whereas intermediate starts at 0.45 to 0.6. So I'm well below that. So I'm, solidly in the low. But my question, I guess, for the group is, so that I'm in low 0.21. But is that if you get treatment, or if I were to get treatment, then I'm in low, or this is as I stand right now with that current biopsy being tested, that's what I am now, or is it after treatment? I was unsure about that.
No, I think that's before treatment. That's saying that the statistically that kind of cancer, you've got a low risk that it's moving to
Progressive.
that it moves to a metastasize in the next probably 10 years.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's what I'm pretty sure that's what it's saying. Other guys in the group would please jump in. Yeah.
I mean, from the standpoint of, I don't understand the Decipher because I haven't ever studied that one closely. I'm planning to, because I'm probably going to ask for that when I talk to my doc next week. The Prolaris is the only one I think that's designed just for active surveillance. So I'm not sure the Decipher is. It gives you your probability. I mean, Rick, what do you say about that? I'm going from Dr. Tawari's lecture 3 months ago. Some of the other guys here listened to that.
We cannot hear you, even though you're unmuted. I think your microphone may have switched.
Yeah, you're right, Alexa. That's exactly what happened. So I'm not an expert on these tests at all. We have a really good webinar. Alexa will find it. I think it was Todd Morgan that did it for us, wasn't it, Alexa? And we'll put it in the chat window for you. He goes through all the different tests. Decipher was originally designed for post-operative testing, and it's since been applied to early stage. Polaris and some of the other tests designed earlier. I really cannot tell you which is the best. I mean, there are so many, and it seems like there are more that come out every month. So it's just not my it's not my area. I don't read it.
I think as I've looked, some of the powers that be that are experts that talk kind of stick with Decipher, Polaris, and that GPS. Help me with the name of that third one. But those are the only three that you see them reference much or want to go to. So each one, from what I've seen and read, looks at things a little differently. I mean, I've read some things that said Decipher is not as optimistic as Polaris. So if you have a low score on Decipher, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
I know that there are a lot of people that really, from the expert field that like Decipher. So it's a good test.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
it's always
taking
seems to be the
actual-
one that it always seems to be the one that comes up in conversation in the webinars, and I guess maybe Eric posted that or somebody put, yeah, check out that webinar. But I guess what you're waiting for really is some more second opinions on various things, right, Greg? Before you,
second opinion on the biopsy, which hopefully I'll have this week. But then trying to get a second opinion on the MRI is proving problematic. But I'm going to talk to Dr. Chung on Friday and see if he can help to expedite that, because his assistant just threw her hands up and said, we don't do that, outside of Stanford. So I thought that was kind of strange. But anyway, I will pursue that.
So Greg,
yeah,
Greg, we may be able to help you with a type of second opinion. We're not quite ready for prime time yet, but one of our advisory board members is with a company. He's just joined them, who does provide AI-driven second opinions on MRIs. They're looking to expand it to create a patient network. We're testing it with one person. If you have a link, you can send it to me, but right now that would be the max. We can't do it yet for everybody, but since you're such a good guy and been with us for so long, and I can't even promise it'll happen, but what we would need is a link. Now, Eric's just posted a very good solution too, which I was going to mention, which is Peter Choik at NIH. They do it. They've got a system set up. So follow that link from Eric. Send me a download link for your MRI, and we'll see what we can do, but no promises.
Hopkins
Rick,
does second opinion too.
I've got something written here for MRI second opinions. I've actually got a phone number, and it's e-radiol. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's in the chat, Gary.
I just posted it in the chat.
It's at John Hopkins. Is it the one at John Hopkins?
John Hopkins website, the email, and the phone number.
Okay. Radiology Center at johnhopkinsmi.edu.
Okay.
He's got that for you, Greg. You should be able to. There's 3 shots right there to get something going with your MRI second opinion.
Okay. Can I ask one last question? Sorry.
Sure.
When I told the doctor, when I said this MRI was in January, and I don't remember him saying anything about this suspicion of possible outside of the prostate. And it was only this last week or 2 weeks ago when I talked to him, he mentioned it. And I said, well, doesn't that kind of force our hand? Isn't that, doesn't that push us towards treatment? And he said, well, it's 50, it's a coin toss. It's 50-50. The only way to know, and this is what I guess my question is, the only way to know if it's outside the gland is if we remove it. And I didn't know, I mean, I thought there was something called a PET scan or something, some other way of finding out other than getting a second opinion on the MRI. But
yeah, PSMA PET scan will tell you if anything has left the gland. I mean, what kind? That's not a coin toss. 50%. The only way we know is to remove it. That's a definite. I mean, how can you even say that? It didn't make sense to me when you said it. I mean, it's not a 50-50 chance if they take the gland. Yeah, there's the PSMA PET will the PSMA PET scan. You need to discuss that. We normally, I mean, people couldn't even get it for active surveillance. I know Rick's got a little bit of a pet peeve about these PSMA PET scans, thinking that some people get them that don't really need them, or they're being overused or something. I'm sure he'll elaborate on that. At least I think that was his thinking a while back.
I would,
you can certainly discuss
I would want
it.
that. I would want that MRI read again. I really would. And in my case, when I wanted mine read again, I mean, I knew somebody because a separate organization had done my first MRI, and they were in my local town, which again, they're community hospital, but I went directly to them and asked them if they would be willing to do a second reading, and they said, oh yeah, we do that routinely. And not the doctor himself, but the office, the person who was in charge of that. And, she said, she quoted me a price. I did have to pay out of pocket for it, but it's not horrendously expensive. I think it was $300. One other thing I'll go right back to this importance of the electronic medical record again. If you happen to somebody that's going to give you a second opinion who is on the same electronic medical record organization, such as, I'll give you an example, Epic is a big one nationwide, then they very easily can look at your images and go through them. They just don't, it's not very difficult. If you can't do that, you can go to your organization that did it, and or I did, and I assume most organizations can do this, and ask them to put it on a CD for you.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned one that we all used to listen to music on. Right. And in fact, it's pennies to do it. They can create you 2 or 3 CDs if you want to. Because I did exactly that last year when I had my upgrade, and then you can send those to people if you want to.
Yeah. I've got the slides, the images that I can send to Rick that are on my health app, but I don't know if that's going to be a high enough resolution, but it's a start. All right. Well, thank you, gents. It's always a pleasure. It's always great to share with you guys.
So,
well, you disappointed us. You're just in the U.S.
Yep.
So I had my hand up. I'll take it. All right, somebody's taking it down now. What I wanted to say to you is this, and we've said this from the beginning, Greg, that there's at least a third, if not more, maybe between a third and 40% of men who progress. The way your prostate cancer is going, there's a good chance you're going to progress. The question is, how long can you go without intervening? And when you do intervene, what's the best way to intervene? But your prostate cancer doesn't look like Gary's, where he's going to be on active surveillance for a very long period of time. And I think that has to, at some point, filter into your thinking. How long do you want to live with this? It's going to be safe. we're not going to let you live with it beyond the point where it's safe. And how long can you stand doing this? When's it going to really start bugging you? And then once you get to the point where you decide you've got to move along, you'll move along and we'll take care of you in the next group up and we'll figure out the best treatment for you.
All right.
Rick, I think it's your favorite person, I believe Stacy Loeb, who says, the goal is to keep someone on active surveillance, and I don't remember exact words, as long as reasonable or as long as feasible. I think you sent me to the video in one of these meetings that I watched where she said that.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. Not everybody can stay on it, and you're getting the signals that your cancer's getting a little more serious, but it may not be aggressive enough yet to require treatment. But at some point, it looks like a cancer that may need treatment, and then we got to decide. Now, Frank earlier on in this meeting was talking about surgery. It's highly unlikely that you do surgery on a 76-year-old man. It's unlikely you do surgery on a 70-year-old man. Although some of the surgeons are doing it now. It's a tough surgery. You're upside down for 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours, with your feet above your head. So, you've got to be in relatively decent shape to be able to tolerate that. And it is a consideration, but there are a lot of surgeons who don't think about that. We now see more guys going through surgery in their 70s. I don't think I would want to do it, but we will help you make the right decision when the time comes. But yeah, it's worse than it was a year ago. It's not bad. It ain't gonna kill you. But I think we met the enemy.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Rick.
Okay. All right. Well, let us know how you.
I think
work
that's a
out the
wrap,
second opinion
Gary.
and the MRI stuff. Okay. All right.
Derek wanted to say something. No. At the end.
Oh, real quickly, I just wanted to. Alexa and I went through COVID a couple of months ago at the same time, and I don't recall. Did you do Paxlovid for treatment at the time, Alexa?
I did.
And did you tolerate that well?
I did. Paxlovid made me feel much better. Like you, I did have the teeth pain, which I'm glad Rick reminded me of, because I'm like, man, my teeth just hurt. I did have the teeth pain afterwards, but when I was on it, I tolerated it well.
Okay. And do you feel that you are exhibiting any long-term COVID symptoms at this time?
I am not at this time. I did my first time with COVID. I had the long COVID. I was on Paxlovid then. Are you experiencing long COVID?
What's the question?
Are you experiencing long COVID?
Possibly, yes. I keep getting the
So,
bad taste in the back of my mouth and shortness of breath and so on.
so I would recommend, I was put on, it was very experimental and insurance was not going to cover it, so they gave me the sample, is I was put on Trelegy. And that took care of my long COVID. It took, because I was having really bad shortness of breath. And I would really recommend, it worked for me, and I've recommended it to several other people at ANCAN, the Trelegy. I did just one inhaler of the Trelegy, finished it out, it was like 30 days, and I was much, much better. So I don't know if that's potentially an option for you. The only thing you have to keep in mind with that is every time you take a puff of that inhaler is you have to use mouthwash because you can get sores.
And that is steroid based.
Yes, it is steroid based, and also taking some more B vitamins with that can help too.
Very good. Thank you. You've answered my questions adequately. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Anybody have anything else, or I think we can wrap it up this evening.
I think it's a wrap.
I'd like Mike to stay on just a little bit longer. I'd like to talk to Mike just a bit longer, but other than that, I think we can wrap up.
Can I ask, can you copy this in the chat? Can you copy and paste?
Yes.
How do you, I'm pressing on it, but it doesn't give me, it gives me happy face, a heart, and clapping hands. And
So you can save the chat.
Say again?
You can
Download it.
save the chat, download it.
Okay, how do I do that?
The three dots at the top right next to the X.
Okay.
Download chat messages.
There you go.
Okay.
Should put it in your download folder on your computer.
Okay, download chat. Okay. All right, thanks, guys. Let me, I haven't found it, but I'll keep looking. Okay. I don't see it.
Let's, Greg,
yeah.
Yeah, let's talk you through it. So you see where it says chat on your screen? Well, you're on the phone, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on the phone. Yeah. So I got chat.
So,
yeah.
So I don't know where it would be on the phone. Alexa, do you know where it would be on the phone?
I'm going to check real quick.
If you're on an Apple device, there's a pin.
Yeah.
Up there on the right top.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could also you could also take a picture.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that. Okay, but it just seems like when I push on it, it doesn't allow me to copy it. So that's it. But that's okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying. I'm clicking on that pin, and it doesn't give me a chance to copy the thing. I thought it did. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Oh, thanks. I screenshotted it, so I've got that. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, I use an iPad and I haven't figured out how to do it either. I take screenshots of.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it lets you.
Yeah, strange. Okay.
Yuri, I'm going to jump off. Good meeting.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All righty, you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Very good. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Good night.
Okay. Hold on, Mike. Alexa's she'll be back in a second, but she and I have been going back and forth. There's a couple of things I think she had in mind and I would like